Welcome to the Business Finance Bulletin, episode 156. Welcome again to the latest Business Finance Bulletin with me, Rob Warlow from Business Loan Services. Now, if you're watching on the video version as opposed to listening on the podcast version, you'll actually see that I'm on location this week. I'm in one of those hotels that sits just off a motorway, and I'll explain in a moment why. In this week's bulletin, a look at business growth and Cashflow, a new online lending platform from RBS, and a new service from MarketInvoice. Well, as I mentioned at the beginning of this bulletin, I'm on location this week. I'm filming from a hotel room, one of those hotels that sits alongside all these busy motorways that crisscross our country. I'm actually in Chester. What am I doing here? Well, I've been delivering a workshop about raising money to fund growth for a business growth strategist, Gavin Preston. Now, Gavin, great guy, does a lot of one-to-one mentoring support for growth businesses and also brings his clients together occasionally for masterclasses. And Gavin kindly invited me up to deliver some thoughts for his group on financing growth. Now, as we know, having a growth plan is great, but to execute that plan well, you need finance. Now, talking to many of the guys in the room earlier in the morning when we got together, many of them said the night before, oh, it's finance is going to be boring. But it actually turned out to be anything but. It was only meant to be a 1.5 hour session, but actually we started at 10 and we kind of wrapped up about 2:45, 3 o'clock. Yes, we had that much to talk about. And I just thought I'd share two key things that came out of that long session that we had. First of all, about crowdfunding. Yeah, most of the businesses in the room had heard of crowdfunding, but we had a lot of discussions around equity crowdfunding and also debt crowdfunding as well, and the strategies around how you can make sure you get the very best from crowdfunding campaigns. But the bulk of the learnings and the lightbulb moments came around cash flow, how to manage cash flow effectively, because when you're going into growth, cash is so important, and it is one thing that many business owners miss. And the key thing that came out of that session around managing cash is having systems and processes in place to make sure that you have velocity of cash flow, that cash flow can move through your business as fast as you can make it. And that's all about breaking the component parts of your business down to make sure that you move through the different cycles in the working capital cycle within your business, essentially like a monopoly board, going from go and getting back to go as quickly as you can. So it's a really good session there. If you want to know more about what Gavin does, just go along to his website, which is gavinpreston.com, and there you'll see about the various workshops that he's holding around the country, really helping you plan for growth. Highly recommend it. In previous bulletins, I've mentioned this concept in the financial world of old world meeting new world. Old world being the traditional high street banks, new world being the crowdfunding platforms and those using new technology to get finance out to people. Now, I've mentioned again in previous bulletins that we've got examples here of the old world banks partnering up with crowdfunding platforms to cross-refer business to each other. So actually partnering up. But just news just out from RBS and Nat West, they've taken this a stage further in now developing their own online lending platform, very much copying the concept from the crowdfunders. So how does this work? Well, this tool called ESME, E-S-M-E, is now available to both new customers to RBS Nat West and also existing customers. So you go onto the portal, populate all your information to the online platform, and within minutes it'll come back with an answer of yes or no, and then have your money out in a matter of hours. The great thing here is, I said, it's for small businesses, so the minimum turnover level is £15,000 up to a maximum business turnover of £24 million. So you can borrow up to £150,000, repayable over 5 years. And one thing, you've got to be trading for 18 months or more, so it's not for startups. So an interesting development there by Nat West and RBS, really copying the ideas from the crowdfunders. So if you're an existing Nat West RBS customer, go check it out on the website. If you're new, also go check it out, see what you can do in order to get quicker, easier access to money. Moving on now to the alternative finance scene with news of a new service being provided by MarketInvoice. MarketInvoice is an online invoice discounter. So if you are selling goods or your services on terms of say 30, 60, 90 days and you can't afford to wait that long to get your cash, you can go along to MarketInvoice and discount that invoice and get an element of the cash up front. That will help ease your cash flow problems to fund growth. Up until now, MarketInvoice have only been able to offer the service on an invoice-by-invoice basis. But now they've just announced the launch of MarketInvoice Pro. And that essentially marks a limit against you. So you can discount a variety of invoices up to a certain limit, much quicker and easier instead of doing it on a case-by-case basis. It's really only going to be suitable for those businesses turning over more than £1 million a year, but it'll allow those businesses to get access to bulk invoices much quicker and easier than they've been able to do in the past. So if you want to know more about that, just go along to the MarketInvoice website, which is marketinvoice.com, and search for the MarketInvoice Pro service. Great way of being able to leverage your cash quicker to fund your growth plans. Well, that's it for this bulletin, and as ever, I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a like and a share. It all helps get the message out that finance can be fun, as did the delegates on Gavin's workshop earlier today. Realise it doesn't have to be a boring subject. Thanks very much, and as ever, don't forget, if you're watching on the video version, you can get the podcast version to download and listen to at your leisure. Just go along to iTunes, Stitcher and SoundCloud and search for Business Finance Bulletin. Thanks very much for being with me. As ever, have a great, successful and profitable week. Bye-bye now.